Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Megan, or Meg is Booked. I am going to do a flip through of my Hobonichi Deco Cousin from 2025. I'm going to do January and February. I'll be honest, I have tried to film this video 2 or 3 times. The first time I was just trying to do January, and I just don't think that the pages are dynamic enough. I'll be honest, I was still figuring out what I was doing with the journal in January. It's my first time using a Hobonichi and my first time really doing memory keeping and journaling. And I thought that I was going to use my planner or my Hobonichi as a planner where it was to-do lists and it was about my day-to-day kind of life and things I was needing to do, I guess, and then recapping. But I've decided to have it be more of a creative space and have it be more memory keeping. And so I've decided to do January and February because I think closer to the end of January, I start getting into more creative, dynamic spreads in here. And I just thought, the January was a little boring to look at. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about the things. That was also something I ran into, like telling you, everything I was doing on those days. If you're really interested, you can zoom in and you can look at those things, or you might just be able to see them depending on how big this is on your screen. Some of the things I am going to have blurred out just because they have to do with work or just like personal stuff that's going on. And then there's a couple different tracker type things that I'm just going to skip over, at least in this video, because they're not really being used that much. So let's just get into it. You can always watch my first video, which goes over like how I use this in all the decorations, but I'm going to skip over my health tracker. I'm also going to skip over these like habit trackers because I just wasn't using them in a way that's interesting or that really matters. It just wasn't consistent. Days I cried and why. I started this late in January, so I only tracked one cry for January, and it was on the 25th. And it was just over regular like communication problems. This is my January monthly page. Like I said, I was using it as a tracker type, like of appointments and things we were doing. I did try and do some interesting things like tracking some media of when it was coming out. I started writing like things we were doing on the weekends, but overall I just didn't love this. So I didn't like this. I thought it was a little plain. I probably could have added some more stickers. Maybe I'll do that later just to make it prettier. But then in February, I switched to doing this recap, glimmer, short, summary of the day. And I really like it. I chose kind of like a purpley theme. So I am trying really hard this year and in the future to like mix sticker packs. I feel like I tend to choose like stickers from all one pack or all one style. So like this was one pack. This came from something else. This was totally different. These bees were from something else. So I was just trying to like change it up a little and have it be a little bit more interesting. But I really liked this and I wanted to keep doing it, and you'll see for March and beyond, I do keep doing that, but I've made them a little bit more colorful. So those will be really interesting to look at in the future. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. I just decorated November the other day. I was really excited with these stickers. This came from a Happy Planner sticker pack that I got on clearance, and I just liked it with the checker. I love checker. But sneak peek of November, just for you for watching. Another tracker page is random songs that pop into my head. I didn't start this till March, so nothing to report. And then my wish list page, I didn't put dates with, and that might be something that I do in the future. So for the weeklies, like I said, again, I was using this as a planner. So I made boxes for my 9 to 5. I put, when we were waking up, some of my appointments. And it's just, I work, an 8 to 5 office job. I'm in the office every day unless I take vacation or sick time. So it's really just not that exciting. And I didn't want to come back and look at this. So I think I did this part. I didn't have any of this here. And then I decided to do the weekly report. This was a trend on TikTok if you're not familiar with it. But report stands for reading, eating, playing, obsessing, recommending, and treating. So I did, I finished this book, This Heartbreak is the National Anthem. I had something else here and put a sticker. This was from my reading journal. It just printed too big, so I just put it in here. I also finished Spells for Forgetting, which I'm not sure why that's not on here since I did that, but it's not. Says that I was eating overnight oats, playing some of those new seasons. Severance Season 2 came out. Traders US Season 3 came out. I was playing Sticky Business, which is on the Switch. It's a game where you get to design your own stickers and own a sticker business. So you get to pack orders and run it. It's actually really cute and I should play it again. But yeah, obsessing over TikTok ban, getting organized as a theme in what I was obsessing about. I still am. There's just not enough time to do those kind of things. For the next week, I added this habits column with the medicine that I take. I take daily meds, reading, and then journaling. And I just don't think I'm a habit tracker person. I tried to do that in those front pages, and I just don't think it's me. And so I didn't do this again. I then, instead of putting my schedule, decided to try and track some of media things. So I kept seeing 555 on Tuesday. I remember that it was on my odometer and the time, and there were just different things. So I put that there. This is from So True with Caleb Heron. How do you age gracefully? You live, laugh, love. So I put some quotes. I just don't love. It's just the lettering, and it's just very plain. And I think I kind of gave up on it. I started tracking when I was posting and what I was buying, and I just don't love it. Did the weekly report again. That was something I really liked doing. I haven't done it in a while, and maybe it's something I need to start doing on my daily pages on Fridays or something, but I did like it. It does, I think, give a really good overview and take me back to where I was in that time period. So, and then this is the last week of January and February. I did get my planner. So I got my planner late. I think I got it during this week. So the 6th through the 12th. I wasn't going to go back and back journal these weekly pages. So that's why there's only a couple weeklies for January. But so then I just decided I liked the weekly report so much. Why not just do that in these pages? I saw somebody do that and I really liked it. I can't remember who that creator was, but this was kind of the style that I did it. I would pick a washi tape and a color. Sometimes I'd put stickers in there. It allowed me to write multiple things for each of these categories. And then it let me do a to-do list as well. So I really like this green theme. I always get these markers. I think I meant to do this color throughout, but I always get these markers mixed up. Let me grab them because the cap looks lighter for the darker color, which is why it messes me up every time. Let me find my Tombos. So Tombow, if you're listening to me, A, you want to send me markers? That would be cool. B, could you fix this? So these are, I think these are the right ones. Of course, this one is rubbed off. Is that the same color? Yeah. This is $1.92, a favorite of a lot of people. So that's this one. And this one is $3.12. And like, I get that the tones, I guess, but if you're not looking at it really closely, they look, okay, it looks much better on camera than it does when I'm looking at it in person. But if I'm just like grabbing it in this big old bag, I'm not gonna know. I won't. And you can fight me if you can tell the difference between them, but I get them mixed up all the time. I intend to grab one of them and I grab the other one. So that's just my beef with the green Tombow markers. Moving on. First full week of February, obviously I was reading Onyx Storm and we went to Barnes & Noble. I think that was part of, yeah, this was my recommending for this week, taking your toddler to Barnes & Noble to run around and ride the escalators. 10 out of 10, he loved it. It was the first time he was on escalators, but I did find Fourth Wing themed washi tape, and I love washi tape. I'm looking at all my washi tape. I love washi tape. That is something that if I see it and I think it's cute, I'm going to buy it. It's just a problem that I have. So I use this, and you'll see in my dailies that I was using it too. So again, just kept with the same layout with the weekly report. I was sick this week. Oh, I decorated my cover with all the stickers. So I did this that week. That took a lot. I just wasn't sure, and it was hard for me to commit, but I just went for it. But that was a really cool part of that week. And then again, weekly report. I was doing really good on reading at the beginning of the year. We were eating these enchiladas and tacos, or not really tacos, Mac gets a burrito from this local Mexican place. Loved it. We were eating it every Friday, so that's constantly in my eating column. And then everyone was asking my recommendations this week. Not really, it was like 2 people. Everybody, I get my nails done. Shout out to Jess. These are my Halloween spooky nails, and they're great this year. So people were asking me where I was getting my nails done. And then my friend Abby, shout out to Abby, she was asking me about what Bravo shows I liked. She was watching Southern Charm and was asking me what other ones I liked. She's probably more obsessed with Bravo than I am, and has watched everything. She's Bravo queen now, but that's usually my background noise if I have something on, is Bravo. And then the eighth week of the year, still doing that weekly report. I tried to switch it up and like do the lettering differently. I didn't do washi tape apparently for this one. Finished another book. I love Adrienne Young. She's a new go-to author for me. And then I was really prioritizing my TBR, my physical TBRs at the beginning of the year, and I need to get better at doing that. I've fallen off reading a little bit at this point in the year. Things have gotten really busy. We're 6th season, busy school year, just exhausted. It's October now, just for reference, and I just am not reading, or I'm reading like 3 pages when I go to bed, so that's not productive or conducive to finishing a book. But yeah, see, reading kind of took the place of number 1 hobby this week. So I don't think I have any hobbies currently. Trying to journal, trying to read, trying to crochet, but really it's let's go to bed early because my toddler doesn't want to sleep. And then this is the last week of February. Finished another book. I was reading Project Hail Mary, which I couldn't finish this month, so it ended up being, I think, one of the first ones I read in March. And then this says treating. These are like big purchases that need to happen, but a lot of these things I don't think did that week. It was just me kind of listing what we needed. Then I switch up my layout for March. So until next time. And then for my dailies, I back journaled probably, yeah, until the 12th. And then the 13th was the first time I used this in real time. And I actually think the things I back journaled are more creative and more like what I'm doing currently in my Hobonichi than what they looked like when I first started doing it in real time. So I think that's kind of funny. I was very nervous to put something down on this. I saw a lot of people doing like mood boards and those kind of things. I decided to just, because it was the first one of the year, like manifesting a good year. So I just chose like some positive things. I don't hate this, but I also don't love it. And I didn't do a collage in any of the other months. I like this Happy New Year page. It's really simple. I love these from the Happy Planner. I've had them forever and I just never use them. And I'm happy to have a place where like I can go back and reference. And I just think this is really cute. And then I went back to work. Some of this I hate just how I wrote in it. I hate my handwriting. I'm very picky about my handwriting. I feel, even though some people would call my handwriting neat, I feel like it's messy for me a lot of the time anymore. And I think the more I'm in the journaling community, I see all these people who do hand lettering and calligraphy and all these things, and I'm just like, wow, my handwriting sucks, when I used to like be obsessed with it and love it. But it's okay. We're working on it. We're moving past perfection, and this is very much a creative outlet. It's not supposed to be perfect, and I try and remind myself, but I still do get upset when I look at some pages, and that's okay. I finished my first read of the year and gave a 5-star. But I really just focused on doing pictures for this and just adding some washi tape to match it. I hate this page. But yeah, so how I was doing this, I was just going through my phone and finding pictures, or I wrote to my husband, was like, hey, I need pictures for these dates. Can you tell me if you took anything? He actually takes a lot more pictures of like our son and the things we're doing, because Milo is obsessed with my phone. He doesn't really care about Matt's phone, but if mine is out, we tend to have tantrums. I think it's because he's watched videos on my phone and he talks to my mom on FaceTime. So he just associates my phone with like fun things, but he doesn't know that Matt's does the same things. I'm not really sure. He's a very smart boy, so I'm not sure why he can't figure that one out. On the 10th, I sprained my ankle, and so I just decided to do this sticker collage with like both motivational stickers and like, we're done with this. So like ugh, hot mess, nope, not today. So that really sucked. I fell on, I guess I did fall. I didn't slip like people, like my husband and mother, want to tell. I stepped on a huge like chunk of ice or snow. I think it was like a sludge ball is what I called it. On the side of the road. We were crossing the street after an event across campus, and it went out from under me, and I rolled my ankle really bad and sprained it. And it hurt forever. It was swollen and bruised, and I had to use crutches, which I hated, and moved past the crutches as soon as I could. So, and then on the 11th, we had a date night. We went and saw Nosferatu. Matt surprised me. We don't get a ton of date nights. I love going to the movies. There haven't been a ton of things in theaters that I've wanted to see, but I did want to see this. And so Matt had his parents come over and watch Milo, and then we were able to go to the movies, which was cool. I'm glad that we went and did that, and I would like to watch that movie again. Part of why I didn't start in this, I think I got it sooner. Part of it was intimidation to put anything on the page. Part of it was because I forced myself to finish my reading journal before I got started in this. So I've been doing a reading journal since 2021. They've gotten a bit more elaborate. I do like scrapbooking paper, those kind of things in it, and added more pages. So I was working on this and wanted to get it done so that I could start tracking. So I told myself, you finish that and then you're allowed to use your Hobonichi. And then we move into the real-time things. The way I was using this, I was doing a to-do list, and then I was writing what we had for dinner, and then I was just kind of like journaling about the day. I hate all of this. I hate how big I wrote here as opposed to following the grid. I don't like this lettering. I like the little Chick-fil-A that I drew. I added these after just to make it better. But yeah, so I did that for a while. I added some ephemera and stickers, got a little bit more creative with it, tried to like change colors. You can see I changed. So we have 1 style of writing, 2 styles, 3 styles. I was highlighting the positive parts are my favorite parts. So we had 3 styles, and then I think we move into 4 styles. So this is what I ultimately, while I was still doing this kind of layout, decided to just pick a color, write it in all capitals, and then match it to like whatever the ephemera stickers washi tape was on the page. So it says still trying to figure out how I want to use this. So I was really trying to experiment, and it does really change. You can see I was trying to draw like the title for this book. I matched like there's tea because that had to do with like the magic in here. I really love this green and the plant sticker. Like I need to do this. I need to go back and do this a little bit because I do like it, and maybe just not put these columns, but just like maybe chunk up a page. And then we were looking at houses during this period of time. We really liked this one. We went out to eat with my family after we saw the house. And then we scheduled another viewing of it. So you can see over here, this is a really exciting page. It's like, we might be homeowners soon. Here's hoping I have good news to share in the next few entries. So you can tell I was like trying to be really positive. And then womp womp, very next day, no house for us. So that's just the reality of this housing market. This is the first house we put an offer on. We've been looking probably at least like 3-ish years, and it just still competing for it. So I was manifesting a house in the spring for us. We still have not gotten that house, and we're in fall. So, but I was at home today with Milo. I was making red beans and rice for dinner. That was good. I love this kind of combination of the washi tape, and then I decided to do purple on both pages. But you can see it's kind of getting like better. I like how full these pages are. And you can see I start writing smaller, so I'm figuring that out. And then I started kind of doing that where they match. So I did the washi tape across both pages and had it kind of match, but chose different colors. I love these too. They're so neat. And very different than what I'm doing now. I think that'll be fun to get back to this because I really love, and I wish I had a whole journal that like looked like this and was so neat, because I love watching flip throughs like that, and I think it just balances where I'm at and what I need from this. And then we're getting towards the end of the month. This was the first time I really experimented. So this page I put the washi tape and did the lettering, and then put the sticker down first. This is a sticker that I designed. And then I found this social media Instagram post about kind of our political things that are happening, and I wanted to make sure I added it in there. So I just taped it in. That's the first time I did that. First time I introduced blobs. I love colored blobs. You will see those. I use them as a way to just do some bullet points or just a quick thought. And I think it makes it really easy, especially when I don't have a ton of time to spend on a page. So this was the first time I did like a multi-blob page. And it was just so I don't have to like write it all out. It's just quick things that we did. It was a Saturday. I only have time during like a nap time or bedtime to journal. So this was quick and easy. I did the washi tape before, and then yeah, I just liked that. To more, clean pages. I was adding kind of like, I would use this different color to, offset when there was like a bigger thing. So new boot goof in. I bought new winter boots just because I needed some to support my ankle the rest of winter. This says I was making progress in Onyx Storm, but still going slow. Need to keep going because I'm starting to get spoilers on TikTok. No, thank you. I loved this washi tape. I think this was the first time I used that, and I love this color combination. I bought my car at the end of January, so we spent like not the whole evening. We were there from I left at work at 3:30. We got there at around 4:15 and then didn't get home until about 7. So it was all about Olive. She's my new Subaru Outback. I love my Outback. I love my Subarus. This is the third type of Subaru I've had, and I really like it. And then we just had 2 different washi tapes. Again, just some different parts about the day. Documenting, poor Milo fell and hit his chin, and we had a rough day. So just documenting. And then you can see Friday, it just didn't work for me. I just didn't have it in me to write. Still eating those enchiladas that I talked about. And then this was from So True with Caleb Heron. Something's got to give, and it has. It's given. I got back on Wellbutrin, and now I'm wearing a lip color. And that just resonated with me. I started taking Lexapro this year to help me feel better and manage life. So for February's cover page, I just went back and chose I did the pictures at the end of the month, some of my favorites, and I started using the ransom note lettering, and I pretty much have done this every month now, and I really like it. And then I made my own sticker of this cherry washi tape. And then you can see it's, starting to get a little bit more creative. 127 pages left in Onyx Storm. I got some new Tombow markers and a new Jelly Roll marker, or Jelly Roll pen. And I'm sorry, but I don't know. I can never find a white gel pen that works. I have tried a lot of the ones that other people seem to work, and I try and use it in my reading journal because, okay. Because I do these book pages, and this is this year's. I just don't think that looks good. It's hard. I don't know. They're not opaque enough, and I just don't think they're good, and I don't know what to do. So I keep searching. So if you have good recommendations for a white gel pen, I just wish they looked better. I don't even know what that says. I end up having to go over it a couple times. It just doesn't, it never works out the way I want it to. And I'll show you my reading journal. I want to do that soon. This is where I found that Fourth Wing washi tape. And I get it. You're allowed to be a hater if you don't like Fourth Wing in that series. I like it. I like dragons. I like Violet and Xaden. I do think that sometimes it loses the plot. Sometimes it's got a lot more than it needs. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. And that's okay. I don't need it to make sense, but I like it. But I started doing this when I started a book or when I finished a book. And so I just like when they're fuller with writing and things. So again, more writing. And then I found this social media Instagram post and added that in there. It says, I mean this completely seriously, but a cup of coffee can save your life a little. A shower can save your life a little. Making your favorite meal can save your life a little. Little things actually add up to really big things in the long run if you let them. The secret to surviving every day is infusing a little bit of magic into the mundane. And that's really true. And I really was feeling that. I still feel that. I try to add little joys in when I can. I ordered a Hobonichi Weeks, this guy, from a Japan Etsy store. And of course it needed a signer, so I didn't get it. I had to go pick it up at the post office. And Milo gave me a kiss at bedtime. This was the first time he gave me a kiss on his own. I probably, it says I wanted to cry. It was so sweet and perfect. I think I did like cry. I have such a sweet little boy, and that just like melted my heart. But I did go to the post office the next day and pick up my Etsy order. I got this new washi tape, which I love, like this little section. I need to do like a page with that, but I put it here at the end of it. I let Matt pick my color combination and my washi tape, and then I added the sticker. I think he chose a purple one, but I was like, I'm going to override you and choose the blue because I think it looks better with that. And then I lettered, this is what can you do when something does wrong, or I keep saying does. What can you do when something goes wrong or you feel stuck? What is one thing you can do right now? It says it's concept from the Wedding People, which is what I was reading. And that's, I think it's just, perspective, and I try to reframe things, and I'm still really trying to work on positivity and those kind of things. Still eating from that same restaurant about enchiladas. So it says, is this becoming a new Friday tradition? And it actually did for a while. We still get it quite often, but not as frequently as we were at the beginning of the year. This is my first like really creative page, and this is when we took Milo to the Children's Museum for the first time, and he really liked it. He's only gone a couple times, but we had a good time, and he's actually getting a pass to go for his, like a year-long pass is going to be one of his birthday gifts this year, so that's exciting. And then I brought back some of those blobs. I love how this is so clean. We went to see Star Wars. We saw the Erie Philharmonic play the music for Star Wars live while the movie played, which was really cool. It was something different. It was hard for me to tell the difference and know that it was actually being played live, but it was really interesting, something fun to do. So I tried to pick like Star Wars themed washi tape, and then we ate at McDonald's twice that day. We got breakfast, and then Matt and I were on the way home, and we were like, we need to eat. So we just grabbed a quick burger. So this was the paper bag that it was in, and it just kind of fit the theme, and I actually really love how it turned out. These were me just kind of like wishing I had more time to dedicate to creativity. I just wish, and it's just the chapter of life I'm in right now. Milo's still really young. My time is really limited. This was just me wishing I had more time to do things. These are some sticker ideas I had. I just would love to design stickers and sell them. So we'll see if I ever get to that point. I doodled these voodoo chips, these Zaps voodoo chips. They're Perfection, no notes. I think this was the first time I had them. My coworker loves them, and she had a big bag, and I tried them, and now I get them quite frequently. And then this is where I kind of have my let's have a redirection. So it says, trying some redirection with this journal. Why am I documenting things at work that make me mad? They won't matter tomorrow, next week, whenever. I want to document the good, fun, funny, sweet, weird things that make my life worth living. Work is so negative lately, and this should be a highlight worth looking back at. So I pretty much have taken work out of this. It might show up a little bit, but I really try not to journal about that, because ultimately I'm not going to care when somebody pissed me off because they sent me a stupid email. So I just stopped doing that. I designed some stickers, and I've used them. I just sent some to some of my friends. And then I was making Matt his Valentine's Day present and got that printed. I made a little matchbook print. I customized it. I'll put a picture in if I can. But it was really fun, and I framed it for him. And now we just need to find somewhere to hang it. For my Valentine's Day spread, I did this frame of, flower and heart stickers. And then when I went to go write in it, I just drew, these were flowers that Matt gave me in the morning. So he gave me flowers and a little Hello Kitty that was Valentine's Day themed before I went to work. And then he got me more journaling things that he gave me after work. And then we had those enchiladas again. That was my Valentine's Day dinner. And then I love my new stationery. So this was some of the stuff that Matt got me. This was Saturday. And then on Sunday, Milo was sick again. So we went grocery shopping. I watched SNL 50. Milo didn't want a nap, so that was hard. We had to reschedule a cousin get together. And then on the 17th, I stayed home with Milo because the way my parents get to us had a 45-mile-per-hour reduced speed. So I told them not to risk it, and it actually was probably pretty good because they turned around. And I don't think they were very far yet, but it took them almost an hour to get home, and they had to take an alternate route. So glad I did that. And then I saw these flowers. Somebody did these on TikTok. I wish I knew and had written down. I thought I screenshotted it, but then I didn't. But I just kind of documented I was over winter, definitely dreaming about spring. So we had a high of 15 and a low of 6, and I thought that was yuck. I hate snow. And then I just decided to draw a little kind of comic of how people decide to park in the winter. So it says, what is it about winter that makes people forget the space that should be between cars in a parking lot? So honestly, I don't know who parked first, but I'm sorry, but what is that? And then Milo had a poor little double ear infection, and we got scheduled with an ENT. I knew something was wrong with him and figured it was his ears, so I was glad we went to go see his doctor. And then I got an order from my Dandelion Diaries. So this was the washi tape that came on my package, but I actually got the tabs for my Hobonichi. And then I also got the lettering that are on my weeks from her shop. So I like those a lot. I did a currently kind of survey thing. And then this says, all hail the bubbles. Milo loves the bubble machine at school, and he just had his hands up towards the ceiling with his eyes closed with bubbles around him, and I thought that was really cute. And then I finished A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. Not my favorite of hers. Not my favorite of hers. I didn't enjoy the magical element in this one as compared to the others, and I thought it was more of a thriller mystery than magical realism, but declared her as a new favorite and go-to author for me. I think she's coming out with one this month or next month. I need to check on that because I'm excited to keep reading that or keep reading her books. And then Saturday, Milo got this little black eye. He hit his head on the table. It looked bad. It wasn't too bad. He's a pretty tough little guy, but just used some different kind of blobs, some squiggles. We went to our first volleyball game at the place I work. My brother-in-law is the volleyball coach. So Milo got to run around in the empty gym, and I just made it look like an album cover. And then he and I were being silly, and he has like a little guitar, and we took his bunny and we were pretending that he was in a band called Milo and the Bunnies. And I made his bunny like talk to him and stuff. I went to a general meeting for my club that I advised to talk about resources and things that were going on. One of my students in the club talked to me about art, which inspired my washi tape choice. I chose like Monet. We talked about Monet and like Van Gogh, and so I chose from my this Van Gogh set that I had gotten. And then I didn't really get to spend time with Matt or Milo. I was enjoying Project Hail Mary. I like this spread a lot. I wish I didn't do all these dots because I don't love them, but I did this washi tape and then this frame of these stickers, and I just think they go so well together. This was inspired by Natasha and your phone. She did these floral kind of blobs and I really liked them, so I did that in here and then just kind of treated them like I do the other blobs, where I just put like a little statement, a bullet point about the day. And then I started listening to Listen for the Lie on audio on the 27th. A game that I really enjoy, Good Coffee, Great Coffee, came out. If you've ever played Good Pizza, Great Pizza, it's the same thing, except you're a barista in a coffee shop. It was really cool. I need to play it again, but I just used the Ransom style lettering, and then had this freebie from my dandelion diaries that worked really well. So I just documented that. And then on the last day, the 28th, I finished Listen for the Lie and gave it 4 stars. And I wasn't able to finish Project Hail Mary this month, but I did finish 7 books this month. So that was a great reading month. And then we're at March. So that's January and February. Hopefully I'll get March up soon. And I think March gets, even more, definitely start doing more doodles and those kind of things and putting in a lot more stuff. I mean, you can tell I put stuff in here. So it'll get more interesting, folks, I promise. But I hope you enjoyed this. Again, like I said earlier, if you can tell me a good white gel pen that will write on top of like Tombows and Crayola markers, I would love to hear it, because I have tried jelly rolls. I have tried, I don't even know. I've tried those ones. I think this is just like the regular, like 8. Yeah, 8. I have a 10. I have the Uniball Signet. Ones are Paper Me, Inkjoy in the brights. I have a white one somewhere, but I tried all these and they just don't work well. I don't think Posca's work. Sharpie ones are too, like this is too thick for what I would be writing with. So if you have any suggestions, that would be great. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe and give me all the recommendations for pens and how to differentiate Tombow markers from each other, because I can't do it. But thanks for watching. Bye-bye.